My story started a long time ago. A kid with big dreams and a tight circle of friends. By the time I turned 20, I found myself in northern Canada, working the oil and gas pipelines. I started as a laborer, the bottom of the barrel, busting my knuckles and eventually becoming a heavy equipment operator. Now, for over 2 decades, this was my life. By my early 30s, I was now doing incredibly well. I bought a house, had a few great vehicles, and all my bills were 100% covered. At that time, I genuinely loved my job and it was supporting my lifestyle. But loyalty comes at a cost and it can be very expensive. A childhood friend of mine came to me unexpectedly and he was in financial stress and needed help. His background, he was in the trucking industry, semi-trucks. So I decided to help this person out. I seen an opportunity for him to make money and for me to make money. So what I did is I went out and bought a semi-truck. This was a great deal for both of us. There's money coming in on both parties. I'm going to be paying him a lot of money above average, and I get a little piece of the pie as well. In other words, he's going to run the semi-truck business and I'm going to continue the pipeline business. So basically, he's going to run the semi-truck industry and I'm going to run the pipeline industry. This way, this is no headache on me and it's no headache on him. I do not interfere on his side of things and he doesn't interfere on my side of things. By doing this really helped out my friend at the time and it gave him employment and took away the financial stress. Now a year went by and we were both thriving. So at this point, I was comfortable, so I bought another semi-truck. And now it was time to look for another employee to run that truck. At the time, it felt like a win-win having 2 semi-trucks running and the business was thriving. But then disaster hit very fast and it all began because he met a woman. And this changed everything. His entire vision was changed in an instant. And within a month's time, his entire vision changed so much that he just ended up packing his bags and leaving me high and dry, even though I fronted a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to help this guy out with my own personal money. And by doing this, it was stabbing me in the back. Now at this point, this left me with a trucking business that I could not run because my duties were to the pipeline industry. Not only that, but debt started piling on very fast. Because of this, everything was in my name, so the financial hammer came down very hard. To avoid bankruptcy, I did not want to go down this route. So I decided to sell everything I ever had. I was forced to sell absolutely everything. My house, my personal vehicles, my semi-trucks, everything to do with the company, all my personal items, literally everything was sold. And just like that, in a matter of months, I went from financially thriving to being homeless. At that point, I had a tough decision. I had a choice to make, and my choice was to survive. I took what little money I had left at the time, was $3,000, and I looked online for a cheap Ford F-150. I purchased that, and that is where the real story began. This is where the rock bottom situation starts. That truck I purchased became my house for 1 full year. This was by choice. I could rent because I'm still employed, but I chose to live in the truck, and I'm going to tell you why. I worked brutal 12-hour days on the pipeline. Every day I'm focusing on my job, but my head is just spinning with stress. In the evenings, I am forced to shower at truck stops, brush my teeth in truck stop bathrooms, and in the evening, I have to find a place to lay my head. That means finding a secure spot for my pickup truck and basically hiding in the back seat while I sleep. That 1 year was very painful and exhausting, but I knew I had a goal in mind. This is the turning point that happened. In the evening, I would utilize my time trying to figure out how I can be financially successful again starting from rock bottom. So I would stare at my phone on YouTube and see what there is to look at to get ahead. Most of the content that I would be looking at was a dead end and a waste of time. But then I stumbled across a YouTube channel. His name was Adriano from Passive Income Investing. Then instantly, it's like a light bulb that went off in my head and it just clicked. Now, because I have a high risk tolerance, I decided to dive in and see what this was about. So the first thing I did is I basically copied his exact strategy for passive income. Because I'm working on the pipeline and I'm now living in my truck, I literally have no bills except for my phone bill. So I sacrificed everything and I started putting all my money into passive income investing. Now that a few months have gone by and I'm starting to understand how this really works, things really started to escalate and I got excited fast. I started looking forward to getting my next pay stub so I can invest all of it to increase my income. This idea of taking hard-earned worked money and investing it into the stock market to create passive income was kind of crazy at first. But now that I understand how it works, I start to become numb to price movements. So when I see the markets go down, I see it as an opportunity. Sitting here today, I have to say a big thank you. Because without finding that channel, things could have turned out differently. So I truly want to say thank you, Adriano. I know you don't know who I am, but a big thanks to what you've done and what you've done to the people. Because finding your channel has literally changed my life. Also, a big thanks to my parents for sticking by me during that hard time, and to the friends that stood by me, and to the ones that didn't, goodbye. Because of this hard grind that I did for 1 year, putting all my money into this passive income, I was able to build a portfolio to something that I like. And now I can survive off passive income. Now that time has gone by, and in 2022, life has turned for the better. It has turned around so much that I have met my now-to-be wife. She really is the most amazing woman, and I truly love her more than words can say. She stuck by my side when I was poor and when I was rich. Today, we have a beautiful 2-year-old boy, and currently coming soon is a newborn baby girl. My life has completely changed for the better, and I came from the worst. This January 2026, I officially left my job. I'm 42 years old, and I am beginning my FIRE journey. So I officially walked away from my pipeline career. The purpose of this is to focus entirely on my family and my health, and focus on the wealth that I am going to create. Not only that, but I get to spend time with my family, my 2 kids, and I get to have my girl focus on her career. Now I understand why choices in life really matter. The choices you make today will end up changing the future. Even in the darkest of times, there is always a light. Now I started this channel to track my journey and my financial income. So I thank you to all the subscribers that are currently with me right now, and to all the future subscribers that are going to watch my content. This is me tracking my journey in my life, my financial independence, and showing my portfolio every Friday. What I am doing is real life case studies. This income is generating more income, and I live off that, but I always reinvest. And as for that childhood friend that I helped out so dearly, as you can tell, we are no longer friends. Thank you for watching my life story, and I'll see you in the next passive income update on Friday. Have a good one. Thanks for watching Monthly Mint.